ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपं ददाति स्वपदान्ति। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापतिपदं श्रीगुरो वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमामि विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदाय कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरकृष्णे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश कांत राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्रीराधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नीलाचल निवासाय नित्याय सुभद्राय जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरम्। So we were discussing Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 2. We had discussed up to text 46, and today we will begin from text 47, 6 to 47. Hare Krishna, Malendra Prabhu. So let us begin 6 to 47. Canto 6, Chapter 2, Ajamal is delivered by the Vishnu Dutas. Okay, so this is 42, 47, 48. Ya etam paramam guhyam itihasam agapaham
यातम् अगापहम्
शृणुयात् श्रद्धया yukto
शृणुया श्रद्धया युक्तो
yasya bhaktyanukirtaye
यस्य भक्त्यानुकीर्तयेत्
navaisa narakam yati
तैसा नरकं याति
nikshito yamakinkarai
उच्छिदो यमतिं करे
yadi api amangalo martyo
यदि अपि अमङ्गलो मर्त्यो
Vishnu loke mahiyate
विष्णुलोके महीयते
Because this very confidential historical narration has the potency to vanquish all the sinful reactions. One who hears or describes it with faith and devotion is no longer doomed to hellish life. Regardless of his having a material body, and regardless of how sinful he may have been. Indeed, the Yamadutas who carry out the orders of Yamaraj do not approach him even to see him. After giving up his body, he returns home back to Godhead, where he is respectfully received and worshipped. Just like the characteristic of sweet preparation is that it gives us the experience and taste of sweetness. Similarly, the characteristic of Krishna Katha is that it creates a transformation in the heart of the person. So it creates a transformation, and a transformation which can lead one to liberation. That is a characteristic of Krishna Katha, that it can create that level of transformation, that it can lead a person to liberation. And as we know, the hallmark of bhakti is that it does not depend on the past state of the person, how sinful, degraded, fallen, or conditioned the person is. The process of bhakti acts in such a glorious way to elevate any personality, thus so surrendered, thus so taking shelter of Krishna in that way, right up to the spiritual world. Let's read further. Mriyamano Hare Nama Grinan Putropacharitam Ajamilopi Agadhama Kim Uta Shraddhaya Grinan While suffering at the time of death, Ajamila chanted the holy name of the Lord. And although the chanting was directed towards his son, he nevertheless returned home back to Godhead. Therefore, if one faithfully and inoffensively chants the holy name of the Lord, where is the doubt that he will return to Godhead? Purport. At the time of death, one is certainly bewildered because his bodily functions are in disorder. At that time, even one who throughout his life has practiced chanting the holy name of the Lord may not be able to chant the Hare Krishna mantra very distinctly. Nevertheless, such a person receives all the benefits of chanting the holy name. While the body is fit, therefore, why should we not chant the holy name of the Lord loudly and distinctly? If one does so, it is quite possible that even at the time of death, he will be properly able to chant the holy names of the Lord with love and faith. In conclusion, one who chants the holy name of the Lord constantly is guaranteed to return home back to Godhead without a doubt. Supplementary notes to this chapter. Okay. Okay, let's take it up a minute later. The Shastras explain, Yena kena prakarena mana Krishna nivasiyat. Somehow or the other, anyhow, the mind is focused on Krishna, it yields an unimaginably auspicious result. Ajamila happened to take the holy name of the Lord. Not that he was intensely conscious of the Supreme Lord. It meant for his son. But that, I mean, it was meant that it was a call for his son, not for the Lord. But that activity of devotional service was so potent enough as to take Ajamal back to Godhead. Obviously, it didn't happen immediately. He was given an opportunity and he was fully conscious that he has got an opportunity and he took benefit of that opportunity. Then it happened. Similarly, the activities of devotional service are very, very potent, beginning with the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. Somehow or the other, if one is always engaged in chanting the holy names of the Lord, it goes on creating more and more opportunities. It goes on elevating our consciousness more and more so that we can make better use of the opportunities which we are getting. So we see devotional service, the activities of devotional service, even if not rendered with the highest and the purest of consciousness, they act on two fronts. They give us opportunities, more and more opportunities, and they elevate our consciousness also so that we can take benefit of those opportunities. So then what do we I mean so then what is our contribution? I mean what is left on our plate to do? Am I it? The point is that so what is left on our plate to do? Just be engaged in those activities. That is why the first s- symptom of Shanagati, or the first stage, or the first level of Shanagati, or the Shanagati, or rather, so to say, that the Shanagati begins by taking shelter of the activities of devotional service themselves, because these activities are so powerful. So one may not have the right consciousness, one may not have the right attitude, one may not have the proper conditioning, but the activities of devotional service, they will create more opportunities, they will elevate our consciousness. So, which means, in due course of time, being engaged, one will be able to absorb himself, be able to come to the platform of pure devotional service. Devotional service leads to pure devotional service. Pure devotional service does not dawn all of a sudden like a eureka. It is persistent practice of devotional service which goes on purifying one's heart and devotional service. So this is the nature of bhakti, that the devotional service leads to further opportunities for devotional service. So we can see someone is favorable in devotional service. For such a person, the opportunities to practice more and more will increase. If somebody is very, very sinful, the opportunities will be a bit less. We can see this. Krishna flings open enormous opportunities for a person who takes a step further. And for a person who doesn't take a step further, or very, very sinful, then for such a person also opportunities come time to time. But then if he shows a bit seriousness, opportunities open up. Like say for example, in our preaching also, we try to reach out to everybody in the first year hostel in our allotted area. Everyone we try to reach out to. But somebody shows some spark, such people immediately we start doing follow up, start spending more time with them. Is it not? In the same way, little bit bhakti creates chance, ground, and consciousness and fervor for more bhakti. So therefore, the activities of devotional service should also always be carried out. Therefore, there is a verse in Bhagavatam which says that okay, chanting of the holy names, even if it's done sarcastically, laughingly, jokingly, it will always have a positive effect. You can see this from the life of Jamila. Ajamil could never have even dreamt of that his little bit activities of devotional service in his young days, teenage days, boyhood days, will help him to such a great degree at the crucial stage of his life. He was just about to degrade or die. Die means basically degrade, because death meant hellish planets and ghastly bodies for him. But at that time, his practice helped him. creating more opportunities. And not only more opportunities, look at Jamila. His consciousness is also very uh, very evolved. That is why he was grateful for the Vishnu Duta's presence. So his consciousness is very evolved. So the gratitude in his heart led to the commitment of determination to stand up and uphold the principles of Dharma now. That's what happened to him. See, one could have, if the consciousness would not have been evolved, he could have taken it as he could have just forgotten it in a day or so. It's okay. Wala. Maybe by chance I got saved. It's okay. Like there are many people who get darshan of Yamadutas. So many people are sinful around, and many people may get darshan of Yamadutas, but not all of them become devotees. Only few of them, like that. Yeah, there are many people who get darshan of Yamadutas. So it's on Laws of Nature. Laws of Nature. No. Second Chance book. That photograph of Yamadutas is there. So sometimes people seeing that they buy the book, seeing the photo. They say, "Look, these people we know." You know. Yeah, it is. It's seeing that because they got interface like that. No, this Rath Yatra only, Jayapataka Maharaj is telling a story, no? A gentleman whose wife and children, they were all devotees and chanting Srinivas, but he never took it up. He was very agnostic. But then one day he got darshan of Vishnu Yamadutas, and they just wanted to take him. But then something happened. They dropped it. So he got up. He went to his son or wife, I think daughter or children, I think. He went to his children. And then he said, Arey, you people do something, na, some meditation. Why don't you teach me? So they were ecstatic. What happened to him? All of a sudden he's got up and he's got a transformation. Acha, how many rounds one should chant? So he's that chanting 16 rounds. Became very, started reading. And they were not able to understand why it happened. How is the transformation? so the so how he could get the transformation? It's not just because he got Yamadutas. Just Yamaduta vision is not enough. He got transformation because implicitly he was doing little bhakti, just because of his wife and children were doing bhakti. That is why his consciousness was elevated enough to come to the right lesson when it came, uh, when the time of the Yamadutas basically created a tribulation or then that disturbed time. He could immediately take it as a signal to increase his Krishna consciousness or begin his Krishna consciousness that way. But there were some implicit activities of devotional service. Why? Because you see, although he was not chanting, but he was allowing his wife and children to chant 16 hours, get initiation and all that. Do you think in their home what was being cooked? Three three members of the family are taking prasadam. What will the fourth member do? Most likely he'll be doing the same thing, is it not? So he'll be getting prasadam. Most likely, is it not? So it may so happen that sometimes such candidates sometimes go out and eat in a restaurant and all that, whatever they want to. But then they pretty much accept some in some way or the other. So they're supporting at least. So there was this implicit devotional service, and because of this implicit devotional service, it created further opportunities for him. So uh, there is so therefore devotional service has to be performed some way or the other, somehow or the other, and one should just continue some way, somehow or the other. So if one continues, opportunities will increase, consciousness will evolve. That's the beauty, which has been explained here. Yeah, so here it is being said that one who is persistently chanting is given the guarantee to go back home back to God. And Srila Prabhupada begins the purport on the note that see the time of death is very uncertain. So because the time of death is very uncertain, therefore the time of death, whether we will be able to write the examination paper or not, doesn't. I mean, there is no guarantee. But one who is constantly chanting, whatever be the state of this devotee who at the time of death, because he's been constantly chanting and taking shelter of the Lord will make sure that he'll take him back to Godhead. This is Krishna's guarantee. So it's just like, if, for example, in an institute, the placement season is very tough, lot of competition. Many times people try for pre-placement. Because that is done, then life becomes peaceful. Allah, okay, pre-placement, the life becomes peaceful. Like that. But then, like nowadays, the job scenario is not very good. So many colleges, right from admission, it is very clear that one will not get job. So there's no job. Like that. And when this is the case, then people are peaceful right from the beginning because they don't have any expectation. So who's frustrated? Person who has expectations is frustrated. Hey, you know, uh, so much struggle I did come to IIT to do what? To just get a paper, and signed and stamped IIT, to get a paper. I'm not getting a job. But right from the beginning, the disclaimer is there that you can come in, but you won't get anything. Then people come in with a very then what is like one devotee was telling me, I was telling him, and one of the preacher devotees from Pune. So I was telling him, Hare, our IIT itself there is a lot of tension and all. What about your college? Your college is way down. He said, true, our college no problem because everybody knows no placement. So what they do? Right from first year they start trying out for some business, some entrepreneurship, something like that. So they see when our devotees they have no they are coming up with very innovative businesses. Somebody is getting mangoes from yeah, some village 4 5 hours from Pune, and then selling at a good cost and making a 1 lakh rupees profit a month. So selling mangoes. Yeah. Huh? So actually life is not very complex. It's not in life you have to be equipped with the latest model of the latest diffusion model or the latest no, yeah, the latest model of the deep learning, not like that. One can just mangoes. Yeah, no, life is cool. Uh, So if one doesn't want to be a fool, no, or be fooled, by the glitters and attractions of this world, then life can be pretty cool, like that. One can just drive to that village, hearing lectures, spiritual lectures, and just load mangoes and come back. That's it. Interesting, no? Another person is selling some milk or something. Not that he has a goshala, That is also outsourcing model. Get milk from here, there, everywhere, Do something with it, sell it, you know? Uh, he's earning 1.5 lakh profit, you know? And who are his customers? You know? Devotees. So, so he just took all his products and sat down in NVCC, that's it. And everything goes. So he's just sitting in the temple and working it out, and it works out. Everybody needs milk and all those things. So, so life is actually not very complex. So the but the point is that when a person knows that nothing will happen at the final moment, and a person is preparing from way beginning. But the person is imaginary expectations that I'll get a job, maybe 20 lakhs, and and then if one doesn't get anything, then it is very disastrous, right? So when one knows that nothing is going to turn up, then one can start preparing for the alternative beforehand. In the same way, Srila Prabhupada is explaining here that the moment of death is really uncertain because in what state, with what consciousness, actually, that way speaking, even the old age is very risky because in old age anything can happen. Some brain disease, some Alzheimer, some anything can happen. So how will the remembrance of Krishna come? So while one has the opportunity, one should not lose it. So that is why it is being said that don't rely for the last moment. Get a pre-placement to back to God like that. See, that is why Srila Prabhupada gave sannyas to very, very young devotees, his disciples. I mean, they were very young at that time. So one way one can think of it. How can somebody give sannyas to with 1 year, 1.5 years of practice of Krishna consciousness? Srila Prabhupada did that. Why? Because he was creating opportunity for them. Because he saw that all these boys and girls, they are in the prime of the youth. They have so much energy. They have so much. They're at the prime of their energy. So he gave them full-fledged opportunity to perform devotional service. And it's not that Prabhupada was not unaware that this is material world and Maya is strong. Prabhupada was fully aware. And Prabhupada knew that some of them may not be able to continue. Still he gave sannyas. Why? Because he just wanted to create opportunities for them. Is it not? Because you see, because Srila Prabhupada's basis of action, one of the bases of action can be this principle that at the time of death, the caliber performance, there are a lot of factors which come into play. But any time of life, one can become serious to that degree, and that will come good to one's avail. That is why we have seen examples of so many Srila Prabhupada disciples who, after Srila Prabhupada's disappearance, became cold or frozen in their devotional practices. But few months before they left their body, or years sometimes some months before, They became very active and very intensely came back to the practices of devotional service. So, therefore, the more we practice early, the more the auspiciousness there at the fag end of life. And the more we postpone, the more unfortunate it is. That is why one should not postpone offering service to Krishna. We should do it right now, right away. Because tomorrow, what will be situation? Mind situation, body situation, we don't know. Therefore, better make utilization of the opportunity we have at hand now. So now means ever. If we take it up now, that means ever for everlasting no, time it will remain with us. And later means never. That is the point. Let's read the supplementary notes. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary to text 9 and 10 of this chapter form a dialogue concerning how one can become free from the sinful reactions simply by chanting the holy names of the Lord. Someone may say, it may be accepted that by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one becomes freed from all the from all the reactions of sinful life. However, if one commits sinful activities in full consciousness, not only once, but many, many times, he is unable to free himself from the reactions of such sins, even after atoning for them for 12 years or more. How is it possible? That simply by once chanting the holy name of the Lord, one immediately becomes freed from the reactions of such sins. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur replies by quoting verses 9 and 10 of this chapter. The chanting of the holy names of Lord Vishnu is the best process of atonement for a thief of gold or other valuables, for a drunkard, for one who betrays a friend or relative, for one who kills a brahmana, or for one who indulges in sex with the wife of his guru or another superior. It is also the best method of atonement for one who murders woman, the king, or his father, for one who slaughters cows, and for all other sinful men. Simply by chanting the holy names of Lord Vishnu, such sinful persons may attract the attention of the Supreme Lord, who therefore considers, because this man has chanted my holy names, my duty is to give him protection. So this is 6.2.9 and 10. One may atone for spiritual life and vanquish all sinful reactions by chanting the holy names. Although this is not called atonement. Ordinary atonement may temporarily protect a sinful person, but it does not completely cleanse his heart for of the deep-rooted desire to commit sinful acts. Therefore, atonement is not as powerful as chanting of the holy name of the Lord. In the Shastras, it is said that if a person only once chants the holy name and completely surrenders unto the lotus feet of the Lord immediately considers him his ward and is always inclined to give him protection. This is confirmed by Sridhar Swami. Thus, when Ajamila was in great danger of being carried off by the order carriers of Yamaraj, the Lord immediately sent his personal order carriers to protect him. And because Ajamila was freed from all sinful reactions, the Vishnudutta spoke on his behalf. Ajamila had named his son Narayana, and because he loved the boy very much, he would call him again and again. Therefore, although he was calling for his son, the name itself was so powerful because the name Narayan is not different from the Supreme Lord Narayan. When Ajamila named his son Narayan, all the reactions of his sinful life were neutralized. And as he continued calling his son, and thus chanting the holy name of Narayan thousands of times, he was unconsciously advancing in Krishna consciousness. One may argue, since he was constantly chanting the name of Narayan, how was it possible for him to be associating with a prostitute and thinking of wine? By his sinful actions, he was bringing suffering upon himself again and again. And therefore, one may say that his chanting of Narayan was the cause of his being freed. Therefore, his chanting would then have been a Nam Aparad. Nam no paladayasya hi papa buddhi. One who continues to act sinfully and tries to neutralize his sins by chanting the holy names of the Lord is a Nam Aparadhi, an offender to the holy name. In response, it may be said that Ajamil's chanting was inoffensive because he did not chant the name of Narayan with the purpose of counteracting his sins. He did not know that he was addicted to sinful actions, nor did he know that his chanting of the name of Narayan was neutralizing them. Thus, he did not commit an aparadha. And his repeated chanting of the holy names of Narayan while calling his son may be called pure chanting. Because of this pure chanting, Ajamila unconsciously accumulated the results of bhakti. Indeed, even his first utterance of the holy name was sufficient to nullify all the sinful reactions of his life. To cite a logical example, a fig tree does not immediately yield fruits, but in time the fruits are available. Similarly, Ajamil's devotional service grew little by little, and therefore, although he committed very sinful acts, the reactions did not affect him. In the Shastras, it is said that if one chants the holy name of the Lord even once, the reactions of past, present, and future sinful life do not affect him. To give another example, if one extracts the poisonous fangs of a serpent, This saves the serpent's future victims from poisonous effects, even if the serpent bites repeatedly. Similarly, if a devotee chants the holy name of the Lord even once inoffensively, this protects him eternally. He need only wait for the results of chanting to mature in due course of time. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports of the sixth canto, second chapter of the Bhagavatam, entitled Ajamila, delivered by the Vishnudutas. Yeah, it protects from the future sins because it awakens the taste for Krishna, the attraction to Krishna. So once sinful proclivity is reduced, so further sins one will not commit only that way. So it protects for future sins. And if by mistake a person comes, apichet suduracharo, so he is not only forgiven, but he is elevated also. That is how also it protects. Like Ajamila became sinful, but did his previous spiritual activities protect him or not? Teenage time spiritual activities. It did. See, so it protects. The glories of chanting the holy names of the Lord, Srila Prabhupada is explaining in such a beautiful way. Srila Prabhupada is explaining that how the chanting of the holy names is not like ordinary atonement, because any other common ordinary atonement is only for a short period, temporary period of time. Whereas the chanting of the holy name purifies for eternity. It's not temporary. It can go on and on and on and on. So chanting is not just atonement, it's much more powerful than that. So therefore, It has been explained that the chanting of the holy names. So, Chiloshana Chakravarti Thakur goes on to explain that if somebody has started devotional service and then falls astray, and he's not totally astray because that devotional service will protect him from sinful reaction, the past, present, future. The chanting of the holy names is very, very powerful. Therefore, it is said one should not mix up material desires and no, an outlook of material desires when one approaches the holy name. Because material desire can yield. So material desires will only yield to very uh, minuscule offering from the chanting of the holy names. But one who doesn't have just such lingering material desires, so we see that here it was explained that Achamal did not perform Namaparad because he was not chanting for the sake of counteracting the wrongs which he has done. He was just chanting out of great attraction for his child. And the Lord immediately helped him to change his attraction to the Supreme by all that pastime. So Ajamil had no such plans to engage uh, to get some benefits from the chanting of the holy names. Because of that, he was elevated very fast. Let's read further then. So we'll go to the next chapter now. Chapter 13, chapter 3. So Yamaraj instructs his messengers. Now we'll hear Yamaraj in this chapter. And he is instructing his messengers. Okay, so let's take out chapter 3 now. श्रीराजुवाच निशम्य देवा स्वभतो पवर्णितम्
निशम्य देवा स्वभटोपवर्णितम्
प्रत्याह किं तानपि धर्मराज
त्याह किं तानपि धर्मराजः
एवं हताग्नो विहतान् मुरारे
एवं हताग्नो विहतान् मुरारे
नैदैशिकेर्यस्य वसे जनोऽयम्
न देशिकैर्यस्य वसे जनोऽयम्
King Parikshit said, "O my lord, O Sukadev Goswami, Yamaraj is the controller of all the living entities in terms of their religious and irreligious activities. But his order had been foiled when his servants, the Yamadutas, informed him of their defeat by the Vishnudutas who had stopped them for arresting Ajamil. What did he reply? Haribo. Srila Vichana Chakravarti Thakur says that although the statements of the Yamadutas were fully upheld by the Vedic principles, the statements of the Vishnudutas were triumphant. This was confirmed by Yamaraj himself. So you see, this is why it is said that dharmasya tattvam nihita guhayam mahajano yena gata sapantha. Oh, the pathways and the trajectories of dharma are very confidential. Guhayam, mysteriously and mystically confidential. So much so that we will not be able to crack it. And therefore it is said, Mahajana yena gata sapantha. It is an intelligence. So although, so now whatever the Yamadutta, see, this is interesting because whatever the Yamadutta said, they can quote a verse for it. So they may say, oh, this is Shastrik. But whatever the, and what, you see how Prabhupada is writing, but whatever the Vishnu said that was triumphant, it just overruled it. So lower principle, higher principle, is it not? Lower dharma, higher dharma. They're presenting a lower understanding of dharma. And the Vishnu just completely smashed it, presented the higher understanding of dharma. So that is why we need constant guidance. Srila Prabhupada explains in purports to the fourth canto that even pure devotees need guidance from other pure devotees. So that they are able to remain focused. So therefore, constant guidance is essential. See, so this is the problem with a conditioned practice of no, with a conditioned state that see the Yamadutas thought they were very learned because they were followers of Raj. And when they were asked to give the test, fart, they spoke like that. Very powerful, fully prepared. Fart. And shloka after shloka, they can quote for everything what they said. But when the Vishnudutas replied, they were all dumbfounded. So they were all dumbfounded. And so therefore, each and every devotee, no matter how many years of Krishna consciousness we pass, should make a very solid program of hearing from other Vaishnavas. Because if one does not hear, then whatever little bit tiny puny intelligence and knowledge one has, one may think that this is all in all. I don't need anything more and I know it all. So Rashmi gives a good formula for health. He says as much you speak, as much you hear. Very good. That'll be very good. Be very safe. So as much you speak, as much you sit down and hear. And very safe. Otherwise, this scholarship mentality can go in the head. Huh? So, so see, scholarship is how scholarship differentiates from bhakti. See, scholarship is very shallow and hollow. One may speak big words, but right in one's own heart, one understands these words are not effective. It doesn't even help me. What it will help anybody else. That means it is not bhakti, it is scholarship. See, Arjuna was also giving a very scholarly class, chapter 1. With giving such reasons. He did deep learning predictions. But Varna Shankara is a very deep learning prediction algorithm. Very deep insights Arjuna brought up. Although now somebody may record that lecture, somebody say, what a classic presentation. But the presenter itself knows that this presentation is of no use even to me, what to anybody else. And therefore he gave it up. He gave it up and surrendered to Lord Krishna. Karpanya dosho pahata subha. Yes. Yes. Hmm. How much we give, that much we should take. There's a difference between the two. Yeah. That doesn't mean let me not go for preaching. So I don't have to take in anything. So, so there's a basic minimum of intake which should be there, even if you don't give anything. But if you do give, you should take also. Right, no? Okay, is continuous hearing good or not? Yeah, yeah. We should never make hearing casual. If you make hearing casual, then what happens is that our attitude towards hearing becomes very loose because we don't value that hearing. So then our connection with that hearing process is not very intense. So therefore, it will lead to topsy-turvy results. It's a little risky. Therefore, whatever we hear should hear very attentively with great heart, not just casual. Mm. Yeah, yeah, it should be deep enough, not like that. Yeah, it should be deep enough. Yeah, with an intent to apply. Yes. So that is true. So hearing has to be done with heart. So many times, if in the back of the mind the thought is that okay, let me just put it in the background and keep hearing. So in one sense, it is offensive because Vapu, that Vani of Prabhupada, not different from Prabhupada in that sense. And secondly, what happens is that our attitude toward the holy name or hearing process become casual. So that tomorrow, even if we have exclusive time, we'll sit down and hear casually only. Because that is how our relationship is developed. Therefore, uh, better to be very focused and attentive in hearing. We can hear while doing some mechanical activity, but we should be focused. That's the point. And not allow, yeah, and not allow the same. So it can be mechanical, but we should be attentive. That's the point. Like that. So in that regard, acharyas also say when we do Shravanam, we have to do Mananam, then Nididhyasanam, then it becomes realization. And in this ladder of hearing to or intake to realization, there is an important stage which every sadhaka has to pass through. So one has to churn that hearing to see how to relate with the happenings of the world through this message. How to relate to okay, how I what steps I can take to progress ahead, and so on. So that hearing also has to be that deep enough, right? So it's not just any hearing and just hearing. uh, but it's not that difficult also because one just has to apply his heart. That's it, is it not? Then one will be inspired. Yes. Yeah. So therefore, sometimes this algorithm works nice that we hear, we churn it, we revise it, we see the world with that eyes, we see from the point of view of personal application in life. Uh, and then we take up something more like that. Rather than so much that one becomes very casual about it. That okay, anyways, it's coming in. Whenever I want, I can try to put my hat. No, that's a bit risky. Yeah, 2.2.37 per put. And by practicing Bhakti Yoga, if the performer is not purified from the material contamination, he must be a pseudo devotee. For such an impostor, there is no remedy for being freed from material entanglement. Yeah, so very nice. The point is the purification has to happen, and if it is not happening, then the application is not proper. So, and Prabhupada speaking very strong. Prabhupada speaking, okay, such a person is pseudo devotee. This is not putting his hat. Devotion is putting our hat. Yeah. Yes. Yes. That's true. Okay, let's read further then. Where is okay? Where did it go? यमस्य देवस्य न दण्डभङ्गा कुतश्चनारशे श्रुतपूर्व आसीत् एतान्मुने वृश्चति लोकसंशयम् न हि त्वदन्या इति मे विनिश्चितम् O great sage, never before has it been heard anywhere that an order from Yamaraj has been baffled. Therefore, I think that people will have doubts about this that no one but you can eradicate. Since this is my firm conviction, kindly explain the reasons for these events. Shri Shukavacha Bhagavat Purushai Rajan Yamaya Pratihato Dhyama Patim Vikya Payam Payamasu Yamam Samyami Patim. Srila Sukadeva Goswami replied, my dear king, when the order carriers of Yamaraj were baffled and defeated by the order carriers of Vishnu, they approached their master, the controller of Samyamani Puri and the master of sinful persons, to tell him of this incident. Yamatuta Uchuho Kati Shanti Hashastaro Jivalokasya Vai Prabhu त्रैविध्यं कुर्वता कर्म फलाभिव्यक्तिहेतवा. The Yamadutta said, our dear Lord, how many controllers or rulers are there in this material world? How many causes are responsible for manifesting the various results of activities performed under the three modes of material nature? Satuguna, Rajaguna, Tamoguna. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that the Yamadutas, the order carriers of Yamaraj, were so disappointed that they asked their master, almost in great anger, whether there were many masters other than him. Furthermore, because the Yamadutas had been defeated and their master could not protect them, they were inclined to say that there was no need to serve such a master. If a servant cannot carry out the orders of his master without being defeated, what is the use of serving such a powerless master? Yeah, that means how many rulers are there? Yeah, how many rulers are there? Who is responsible? What is the like that they are saying? Yeah. So herein we see the disappointment of the Yamadutas. See, seems that the Yamadutas were not. See, this is called as official connection. If you see, the Yamadutas were not properly connected to Yamaraj. They were simply using Yamaraj branding and exploiting and abusing it. That's all. For their own sense gratification. So, so you see the therefore you see this point here. So therefore they were very frustrated when they saw that their authority was crushed. So therefore, you see, therefore it is said that okay, as a devotee, we should never use our position as a devotee and become arrogant and proud. So much so that when you go in the world, then we are looking down upon people. Oh, fallen conditioned souls. The Shastras and the Acharyas explain one should be humble. So we should not follow this mentality that we take branding of Krishna consciousness and demonstrate ourselves to be righteous. That algorithm of self-righteousness. Yeah. So one should never be proud of one's position. So the more is the arrogance, the greater is the pain when it is smashed to dust and powder. So the Yamadutas are teaching us. So therefore, only a person who is very grateful. Yeah, that is true. Devahuti is saying a grateful person does not become a great fool. So that's very true. So the only one who is grateful will be able to hold the essence of the connection. So if gratitude is missing, then one will lose the essence of the connection, which in our case means that we will lose that very that very the we will lose that very depth and the calling and the intensity of the message of Krishna consciousness, which is the hallmark of the connection. So the parampara stands for transmitting and giving us and installing that knowledge in our hearts. So that installation essence will be lost, but only the name tag will remain. Yeah. So therefore, one should be very humble and grateful. Yes, that's right. Okay, so let's stop here for today. Yeah. Gatra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shil Prabhupada ki